Okay, I'm moving on now with Cooking with Gigi to make a ham and cheesy potato dish. I'm gonna use this big casserole dish. You can use 9 by 13. I tend to like this one. It has a nice lid that I can put on it. And so I'm gonna spray this with some Pam. You could also just butter it if you would rather put butter on it, but I'm getting it sprayed up with my Pam. That's what I like to do. Okay, so I have peeled and sliced and washed all of my potatoes. You need about 7 potatoes, like russet, or you could use the Yukon Gold, whatever kind you want. And I'm going to have some onion powder in this, and salt and pepper. And you're going to have some milk, and you're going to need about 3 cups of milk and 1/4 cup of flour. And I'm gonna go get that ready. I have to mix my flour in my milk. Okay, so I have 3 cups of milk in my bowl, and I'm putting in about 1/4 cup of flour, and I'm going to whisk that together, get it really well mixed up. That's what I'm gonna pour over my casserole whenever everything has been put in the casserole dish. You need to layer, or they call it shingle, the potatoes. And then you're gonna put your spices right on top of each layer and your cheese. Then at the end, we will add this milk with the flour. The flour is what's going to thicken up your casserole dish. So now I have my potatoes right here, and I'm gonna start layering them in to my casserole dish. I'm just gonna kind of put them in here and kind of layer them. They said shingle them. Well, that'll take longer, so I'm just gonna put a layer in and cover that up a little bit. You want 1/3 of your potatoes that you've prepared to be in your first layer. So I'm gonna kind of eyeball what I think would be 1/3 of my potatoes. Okay, so here we go. Now, I'm going to take 1/4 teaspoon of the pepper, and I'm gonna put the pepper over my potatoes. And then it's calling for 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. So I'll do that. I've got my kosher salt here. Putting that over my potatoes. Then 1/4 teaspoon of the onion powder. Oops, gotta get that off there. You know, I have made these potatoes where they've actually called for actual onions, but this one just says to do it this way. Now it says to do about 1/2 cup of the cheese, the shredded cheese, so I'm gonna kind of guesstimate it a little bit. I always go a little heavy on my cheese. So here's my cheese. I'm gonna sprinkle that over. Oh, you know, I think my next layer was supposed to be my ham, but I don't think it makes that much difference. So now I'm gonna put in a layer of ham, trying to figure out, you know, it says 2 cups of ham. And about 1/3 of your ham needs to go in now. So I'm getting my ham in. I may have to go cut up a little more ham. I was kind of guesstimating. I might not have had enough. It's okay, I've got plenty of ham over there. I'm gonna get this ham in my casserole dish for my next layer of yumminess. Okay, boy, it has been nasty weather here. It was like 5 or 6 degrees this morning. Okay, so we've got our spices, we've got some cheese. I'm gonna put just a little bit more in there. And now we're gonna do another layer of the potatoes. So we're trying to get about another 1/3 of this bowl of potatoes in here. Okay, no worries, my hands are washed, they're clean. Okay, I think that's about right. All right, we're gonna come in again with our spices, onion powder, and pepper. I'm going a little heavier because I'm making a little bit more than what the recipe originally called for. So I'm a little heavy-handed, and that's why. And then some salt. Gotta watch it with the salt though, because to me, it's got this ham in here, and ham is salty. And then we're talking about some more cheese. Here we go, cheese, more cheese. I do shred my own cheese, as I've told you in the past. That makes it melt better when you do. So this is my cheese. It is sharp cheddar cheese. I'm using a 1/2 cup on each layer. Okay, now here comes the ham. I think it can be the ham and then the cheese, or the cheese and then the ham. You know, it doesn't matter too much. As long as you get it layered in here and you get the correct amount, you'll be good. Okay. Definitely gonna cut up just a little more ham, I think. Okay, here we go. I do trim my ham and try to get the fat off of it, and that little brown crusty thing that's on your ham, I try to cut that off. Okay, so now I'm going to put some more potatoes. This is the last of the potatoes. I'm gonna put these potatoes in. I think I guessed just about right on how much to have. I didn't want to get too much, but I wanted to have enough because I have 10 of us eating dinner tonight. So I don't want to run out of food. I never like to run out of food for my company. I'm gonna go cut some more ham up, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm gonna put my last of my spices on here. That's my salt, my onion powder, my pepper, and I am a lover of pepper. I like to put plenty of pepper on my foods. And now we're gonna put the cheese. And actually, I think before I do the cheese, I will go ahead and pour this milk mixture over it. And I'm gonna give it another stir to make sure that it's definitely mixed in good. Okay. All right, here we go with the milk mixture going over our casserole dish. Now, if I have too much milk, I might back off. I can always add milk later on if it looks like it's getting too thick. It says you don't want it to completely cover your potatoes, but about 3/4 of the way. And I actually think, yes, that's gonna work out perfectly. Great. And now I'm going to put my cheese on top. My oven is on 400 degrees. I'm going to cover this for the first 30 minutes with a lid. And I do have a perfect lid with this. I'm putting a little more cheese than what it's calling for because I'm a cheese freak. So you can follow the directions correctly and just put a 1/2 cup. But I probably got 3/4 of a cup on there. Okay, this is gonna get covered by a lid, which is right over here. The oven is hot and ready to go. So I'm going to put my dish in now and let it cook for 30 minutes. So as I was saying, I did put that in the oven. It's at 400 degrees for 30 minutes with a lid. And I will be taking the lid off for the last 30 minutes. And when that's all done, I'll let you see what it looks like.